Good afternoon and welcome to your bi-weekly Screams, iScreamers. I am your Lucky Limes here with Mr. Cool J, Lawrence E. Gibbs. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing wonderfully well. Great to be here for another bi-weekly Screams with you, my lovely Lucky Limes, and all of you ice creamers out there. Do we have something absolutely freaking awesome? Well, we always have something freaking awesome every freaking time, but we do have another one for you today. Are we
Yeah,
ready?
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's jump. Listen, we're going to be talking Sinners in a little bit. I mean, we both saw it this weekend, so I'm excited to talk about it. I'm sure you're excited to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Let's cap off a couple of things first. Okay, so first
Yep.
things
Yep.
first. 20th Century Studios. God, I always feel like I almost always say 20th Century Fox, even though that it's like right.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
that's what we grew up with. That's why we're so used to that.
right, right.
Yeah.
20th Century Studios dropped the trailer this week for Predator Badlands. Oh my fuck. I thought it looked awesome. Did you check it out, Jay? What did you think?
I thought it was setting the pace of something we are going to absolutely devour.
Yeah, right,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
they've really, I mean, look, Prey was fantastic. Taking the shifting that back in time,
Hmm.
and setting it with the Comanche tribe there
Yeah.
in sort of olden day America was fantastic. It was a stroke of genius, and it's really unlocked the potential. And now it seems, I don't know much, like they're not really saying much about the story, but it seems like we're going to another planet. It looks like it might be the distant future. There looks like there's an android woman in there
Yep.
somewhere. How I just I'm just like bring it,
Yeah.
bring it. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Like, have you seen some of the weird criticisms on the internet though of the remember the you see the predator at the end of the trailer, like the one like with the weird eyes.
Yeah. 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 And the face is a little bit more humanistic.
Humanistic, right? Now,
Yeah.
now I'm intrigued. What's really pissing me off, and this is why I try to like look, I'm a sci-fi fan, I'm a horror
Yeah.
fan, you're a sci, but I really get pissed off with the toxicity of like it's all I'm seeing the whole week is, oh, what's that thing at the end? That doesn't look like a predator. It doesn't like okay, one of the best movies in this franchise was, and I think we've talked about this before, was Robert Rodriguez, Predators, right?
Yeah.
How many different looking predators was in that? And it was fantastic.
Well, yeah, because you're talking about a species, just like the human species. We don't all look alike. There's differences. So when you have another species, they're not all going to look cookie cutter clonish.
Oh
That's what
my
Star Wars
God.
Clone Wars was about. You had your clone.
Why is it that you can see that and I can see that? And then you've got these knuckleheads out there, just like it's like they just want to rip everything down. It's just
Yeah.
exactly what you said. I'm a white man, you're a white man. Not all white men look the same. Not all black men look the same. Not all Asians look the same. Not all
Yeah.
humans look the same. Some of us have
Yeah.
small heads. Some of us have melon heads. It's like, oh, just give it up. Watch the film.
Yeah.
Shut up, and just give it a chance before before you start
Yeah. Yeah.
rushing to judgment, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Um,
totally. Totally on
no,
that one. And I like the direction in which it's going.
oh,
Coming to Hulu, just like Predator Prey, Predator Killer of Killers animation.
yes, yeah, that I have, but I haven't as of yet watched the trailer for it. Fill me in. What have you
Beautiful,
seen? Yeah, tell me,
beautiful
talk to me.
artwork. It goes back in time, but it's more of I think the genesis in feudal Japan back in the samurai
Ooh,
age, and
oh
it
shit.
goes up from there. And the artwork animation is absolutely beautiful, and the carnage that only animation, especially Japanese type animation, can provide.
Oh yeah, anime is fantastic. But you raise a real cool point there, and this gets back to when you're talking about feudal Japan. Um, this is like Prey really unlocked a door, like because now you can literally like, right, yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Set a story in feudal Japan. Let's have a Predator story set during World War II, right?
yeah, yeah,
Let's see Vikings go up against the like these
yeah,
things have clearly been coming to the planet for like for centuries.
yeah. Oh yeah.
They've tangled with humans so many times. We've got so much expanse for to where to set these. You can plop them in anywhere, right?
Yeah. Well, and
Um,
the whole thing with the predator is that they go to planet to search out the alpha predator of that planet because
yeah,
that's their gig. They are big game hunters in a manner of speaking, and their game is other predators
yeah,
are the
exactly,
alpha
exactly.
on the food chain. And
Oh man,
when the human species started evolving, from way back when we were more furry and ape-like, uh, we were becoming the alpha predator. So why not? We're talking probably tens of thousands of years. Predators came to the planet, and there you go. And
yeah,
again, going back to the past like that with the
yep.
Comanches and Prey into the future with what we saw. So the canvas is wide open. It's wide open for this franchise and what they can do with it. Hopefully they don't screw it up and it gets old hat. We're like, okay, well we've seen that. What else do you have? And they don't mess it up. But right now, based on what you saw, what I saw, and what I just mentioned about the killer of killers, I'm loving the direction that they're going with this and the imagination that they have on broadening out the storyline and the lore of the Predator.
You and me, my brother. So, in closing, to the people out there that are attacking it because of the way that the predator look, like because God forbid this imaginary alien looks different from other imaginary aliens.
I know,
Grow
right?
up, give the movie a chance, and just stop. All right, just enough.
Yeah.
All right. So, moving on.
Yep.
28 years later. We're literally what it's. I think it's we're about a month and a half out from release.
Mm-hmm.
I am super excited because I love 28 days later. I love
Yes.
28 weeks later.
Yes.
We've been waiting for so long for this. They dropped another trailer. Did you
Yeah.
see that? The new trailer for the
Oh yeah.
28
Oh
years
yeah.
later,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Troops underground or what in like sewers or something and
Mm-hmm.
infected coming out and oh
Yeah.
my god, I'm so nerding out, man. I'm so nerding out. And they say that Killian Murphy is back and they're being very very yeah and they're being super coy about how he comes back. Like I've read interviews where they've said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, he's come back, but you're gonna not the way you expect," or da da
Yes.
da da da, whatever. Can I give you my take? This is what I think is going to happen, and we'll
Yes.
we'll
Yes.
we'll see, right? I think, and it's speculation, but I'd love it if this happened.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So we've got 28 years later, and we know for a fact that we've got 28 years later the part two, the Bone Temple. They've shot that.
Yes.
It's coming out
Yes.
next year. And
Yes.
we're going to get a third one. So it's a new trilogy. So to me, this is what I think is going to happen. This is what I
Okay.
think is going to happen. In that new trailer, you saw a gas
Yes.
station blow up. Did you
Yes.
notice that?
Yes.
Now, remember in the first movie when Jim first encounters the infected and he's on the run, they almost get him, and then all of a sudden fire bombs come, they blow up the gas station, and it's Mark and Selena, and they've got the gas masks on. This is what I want to see. This is how
Okay.
I'm hoping that they bring Killian Murphy back. We've got Aaron Taylor Johnson and his son. They're the main characters.
Yeah.
I'm hoping at the end of that first movie, they get into some kind of deep shit. It looks like they're screwed. And then all of a sudden, boom, you get um, firebomb like a Molotov cocktail,
Yeah.
whatever. In comes a character, hood, gas mask, saves them, takes the gas mask off, and it's Killian Murphy. Cut to black screen, Jim's back, and we know that in the next movie he's going to have a massive. That's what I'm fucking hoping for. I really hope that that happens. I hope that they do that.
But I'm glad that they're continuing with it with the Bone Temple, and they've already because I mean that's how a lot of good movies and Peter Jackson did with all the Lord of the Rings. He just shot it
Shot them
one
back
pretty
to
much
back,
right
right?
after the other. So not too many years passed, and you had continuity.
Perfect.
And I'm glad that they did it this way, and they're continuing the story, which should be brilliant. And we have a lot to look forward to. And will Cillian Murphy, will Jim come back? There's the enigma right there, and that is what the tease is, and that's what everybody is chomping at the bit for, and we don't know. There's hints. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. This is exciting for all of us that are fans of this franchise. But is it going to be the trilogy from this one? Because
Yes,
the
that's
first two were the
that's
sequel. This is the third, but then we're going to have two more. So,
from what I'm hearing,
mhm,
it doesn't ignore 28 years, sorry, 28 weeks later. It doesn't
yes,
ignore the event, but it also doesn't really tie too closely because if you remember correctly, at the end of 28 weeks later, we basically saw that the infected had hit mainland Europe. There's a shot of them running, and
yes,
there's the Eiffel Tower. My understanding is that they're kind of glossing over that. There's going to be and they want to go back to the rest of the world is okay. It's the UK that's quarantined. So Danny Boyle's back with Alex Garland. Boyle's
yes, yes,
directed the first one. Alex Garland's written it with him, and they're basically this is a new trilogy. 28 years later, the Bone Temple, and whatever the third one
yeah. There
is
you
going to
go.
be called,
Yeah.
right? But I guess anyway, we've got not much time to wait. It's coming in June. We're going to find out all the answers, and I'm excited too. So let's move on.
Yes.
Let's talk Sinners. Let's talk Sinners. Okay.
Yes.
I have a gazillion things to say. I'm sure you have a gazillion things to say. How do you want to start this, man? Do you want to give me your initial thought? Like, what? I don't want to gloss over anything
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
so much to talk about. Um, give me your initial thoughts going in, right? Like, what did you think?
So I didn't know what to expect going into this. I was looking forward to a new vampire movie. You and I, we both love vampire movies. We love vampires. So I was like, all right, this is going to be very, very interesting because it's set into the 1930s, post depression, gangster era, speakeasies, juke joints, the whole nine yards. Michael B. Jordan does an exceptional job. He's playing twins that, came from, Mississippi, the Delta, went up to Chicago. We don't know the whole story of what happened in Chicago, but they come down. They're like they're like the guys, the gangsters, coming back down to own the town and do their thing there. Okay.
Yeah, the setting was perfect.
Yes.
I mean, the minute you roll something back to the 1930s,
Yeah.
you've already got such a beautiful palette to paint upon, right?
Yeah.
And boy, did they recreate it wonderful. It's hey, did you ever see a show called Boardwalk Empire with Steve?
Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. With Steve Buscemi, one of the best series HBO's come out with. Absolutely loved it.
Right.
Yes.
So then you will agree with me that
Mm-hmm.
Boardwalk Empire did a beautiful job of recreating the 1920s, going up to
Correct.
the 30s, right?
Yes.
Um, so I almost felt with this, it could have been called Sinners, and then a little tagline, a Boardwalk Empire story, because it could have been set in the same universe,
For
right?
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they did such a seamless job of recreating that era.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the right from the beginning, I was sucked in. I was sucked in.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is fantastic. And like you, I
Yeah.
didn't know what to expect going in. I knew it was a vampire movie. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I knew it was Ryan Coogler, obviously, and Michael B. Jordan. My
Mm-hmm.
first initial thought is, okay, 1930s, Deep South. This
Yeah.
is going to be uh, maybe white vampires versus the black population. That's what I was thinking. And
Yeah.
boy, were my expectations ever
Yeah.
subverted. subverted. Like,
Yeah.
first and foremost,
Hmm.
the vampires, while they're not extraness to the story, they're absolutely important to the story.
Oh yeah,
In
yeah,
in a lesser movie, in a lesser movie, you would be sitting there watching the characters introduced, watching them set the scene,
yes,
and in a lesser movie, you'd be thinking, okay, when are the vampires going to show up?
yeah,
Okay, where are the vampires? I
yeah,
didn't care. I was
yeah,
so sucked into the story that they wanted to tell that I wasn't thinking that. So
yeah,
when the vampires ultimately do show up, you've 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 painted such a rich picture to begin with
yeah,
that this is just a cherry on the sundae. It's the icing on the cake when it suddenly flips and starts turning more on the horror vibe.
yes, yeah,
Wow, 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 wow. And and
yeah.
and and something else I just want to quickly say, I
Okay, yeah,
because I
yeah,
don't want
yeah.
I don't want to stop you because I know you got a million things. So something else. I want to get back to the whole thing about the whole white vampires versus a black population. They completely sidestepped that. This was so
Yeah,
not about race between the vampires were just there because they liked the fucking music.
yeah,
They were just there because they like, and it was like, even though, yeah, they're evil, they're vampires, there was this weird sense of fellowship. They just wanted to be
yeah, yeah,
involved. It's like, guys, we just want to come in. Hey, listen, we're doing this is what we are. Why don't you join us? Let's be family type thing, right? I'm
yeah, yeah.
like, should I be scared of these guys or should I fucking love them? Like, I just, you know where I'm coming from? Like, seriously.
Well, I fell in love with them after they started kind of going into their little jam, their little audition. That's when I fell in love with them. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Okay. I they're like, wow, that blues in there? Well, we got a little ditty of our own. Can we show it to you? Yes, please show it to us. What this movie reminded me of, and now again, it wasn't what we expected. And like you, I was wondering when the vampires were going to happen, even though we got a little glimpse how it was going to play in. But I was caught up with the story development of Michael B. Jordan's characters as twin brothers. And know what they reminded me of?
Go for it.
The Craze.
Yes.
Didn't,
Yes.
right? The Craze.
Yes, totally. And you know what? That crossed my mind. You're absolutely, as the old saying goes, you have hit the nail right on the face, my friend.
Yes.
Yes, the Cray twins. That was like it was
Yes.
that vibe, right?
They had
Um,
that same notoriety. They were
yep,
notorious, but they were good hearted. They just wanted what was best for that area, for their people. And I loved how Michael B. Jordan portrayed both of them. Again, he did a phenomenal, phenomenal job. And again, the character development between them, their cousin, their uncle, and kind of their backstory, as well as those that they had relationships with within that town that they grew up with, and how they were coming back together as a close knit group of people that want to better their lives and better
yeah,
the situation for those within that area. It did have a lot of social political commentary of that era and what was faced by the black people of that time, especially in the South. And I love that about it as well. I thought it was very well done. It wasn't overly done, but done enough where it was integral to the story and the characters. Now, when I was watching this, some of it was going here, this direction, that direction, this direction. I'm like, they're trying to incorporate a lot of stuff in here. And I'm wondering where they're going to be going with this. Are they trying to put too much into it? Or is this going to pan out? Is it going to play out and make sense? Ultimately, it did. And I loved it. But what this movie reminded me of, which I loved, it had flavors of Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn
yep.
and John Carpenter's Vampires.
Ooh, stop right there. Hold that thought. Yes, I see where you're going with the John Carpenter's vampires. But did you? I feel
Uh-huh.
And obviously Ryan Coogler, like we know that he's working on an X-Files reboot right now.
Oh shit.
That's his next big project.
Wow. All
And
right.
and based on what we saw here, it's gonna fucking kill it, right? But
Yeah.
getting to John Carpenter, take
Hmm.
vampires out of the equation. There were, I felt, some definite Carpenter homages to the thing. Let me explain.
Okay. Okay.
The first scene where you see the first time you see Remick,
Yeah.
and he comes into this, like he leaps into the
Yeah.
camera and he's
Yes.
running towards the house, and he's like, let me in, let me in, let me in, like I'm being chased,
Yeah.
there's like there's there's Native Americans after me, blah 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 blah. I that
Well, they were
scene.
they were engines.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, Indians, right? Like goodness gracious, man. That scene alone
Yes.
reminded me of the dog coming from the Norwegian camp at the beginning of the
Yes.
thing, being
Yes.
pursued, and they let him into the house, and they're like the guys, the Native Americans come. They're like, you don't know what you're dealing with, you don't know who this is. You let us get our hands on him, right? So there was that right off the bat. That made me feel like the thing. Then later we get their own version of the whole remember the blood scene where we're trying to figure out who's the thing, and they're like Kurt
Yes.
Russell's like got the hot needle on the blood and
Uh-huh.
you're waiting
Yeah.
for the blood to. Well,
Yes.
they did the same shit but with garlic. Remember when they had them all around? It's like, okay, everyone take a
Yeah.
bite of this clove of garlic and we're going to find out if any of us have been infected. I'm sitting there, I'm
Yes.
like, come on, man, Coogler's got to be playing like a
Yeah.
thing homage here,
Big
right?
time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, 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 man. But one other thing I want to pick up on what you said, and again, yes, there was a lot of socio-political commentary because obviously you cannot to deal with that era and to not deal with things like the Ku Klux Klan and stuff is basically an insult to the memory of the black population that
Yeah.
suffered all that stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
But the beauty of it was, again, it wasn't the vampires. The vampires weren't racist. They weren't
Yeah.
racist on any
Oh, totally.
freaking level. They weren't
They
like,
yeah. No.
it's like,
We're both so excited on this one.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
No,
no, no.
please.
It's wonderful. But no, the vampire, the head vampire, was an equal opportunity employer. He didn't
Right,
care. He loved
right.
everybody. He's like, dude, one big happy blood sucking family. Let's do this. You love music. We love music. That's what brings us all together.
Oh my god, that was incredible. And then you get that, and like you get that scene there where the kind of like the obviously everybody's in the bar, they've locked down, they're holding
Yeah.
it. Oh my god, we're under attack, we're under attack, and things kind of die off, and they open the door, look out, and there's Remick and the other vampires with the people that they had turned
Yeah.
from the bar, and they're all having a fucking dance out there. He's doing like Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance,
I
like doing
know.
all this.
Yes. You know what? That was so funny. What I thought of when he was doing that, and I cracked up, was Willem Dafoe's character in Boondock Saint. You know what? That makes me so happy. Makes me want to river dance.
Right, right.
It was brilliant. I loved it. But again, that's one thing that was really good. Some of the commentary as well about how the oppression happened for both people. Okay, the Irish way back when they were Celts, and I love how they integrate that because he was such an ancient vampire.
Yes,
When it was the Celts, he was
yes,
Celtic, and
yes.
the black community there, some of the legends about singing the song and be able to draw in the spirits of the ancestors, that comes from the tribes of Africa. So I loved how they did that. I loved how they went
Yeah,
way beyond just the past couple of years or past couple hundred years. It was almost like 1,000 years prior.
yeah. I agree.
That
It
I
was.
loved.
I
The
think,
historic and cultural integration, that was brilliant.
and I think that's what the story was so folkloric. Like what you're
Yes.
saying there, right? There was like the world building was fantastic.
Yes.
And when you get that, like I thought that scene was really clever when the kid, like he's doing like the blues, he's playing,
Yeah.
playing, playing, and then because they said they made it clear this there's this music that can conjure the spirits from the past and the
Hmm.
spirits from the future, and
Yeah.
you get that in
Yes.
the bar, and you see like people from ages past
Yes.
dancing, and then you've got like a DJ there, like scratching a record, like and
Yes.
they're like
Yes.
and some girl like twerking and stuff, and it's just like
Oh,
like
no.
it was so clever, so
Yeah. And then you
clever.
had somebody from the Parliament Funkadelic, playing the guitar. Yeah. That was kick ass.
I can't. You know what? I couldn't take the stupid smile off my face from beginning to end. I really
Yes.
couldn't. And
For sure.
it's not often that you get to watch a film and suddenly you sit there and it just dawns on you. I'm sitting through a new classic. This is a new classic. It is hands down the most original vampire movie in decades.
Yeah. And
And
no, wow, for sure. Definitely.
right,
Yes.
and
Yes.
to my and in my opinion, one of the just absolutely one. It's up there with the best of them. It's up there with the best vampire movies ever made.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, we touched on the Ku Klux Klan,
Yes. Yes.
right? Again, we're going to try not to be too political, but you and I are both sick and fucking tired of like the relentless wave of racism
Yeah.
that's in the world right now, right?
Yes. Definitely.
So
Yeah.
how cathartic was it? You know, we already had that
Yeah.
foreshadowing kind of where the vampires say, "Listen, dude, you bought this bar, but I got to tell you something. The clan are coming anyway. They're going to come. They were planning to kill you anyway. So
Yeah.
you know why not join up with us, right?" To see them finally turn up, the fucking clan turn up, and Michael B. Jordan gets that gun there, and I was like, yes, like in I actually,
Yeah.
I verbally went yes in the theater, and then
Oh
I'm
yeah, no, I was elated. I was absolutely elated. I was like, good riddance. Fuck them. Glad it happened.
yeah, fuck y'all, right? Like seriously. Oh my god. But you
Oh,
know,
sorry. Spoiler alert, folks. Spoiler alert.
no. We gotta cover spoilers, you know, like, and I'll make sure that there's a
Yeah.
spoiler alert. But we gotta talk about because it needs to be talked about. And one
Yes.
of the
Yes.
other things I like was the. Please tell me you stayed after the credits.
Oh yes. Yes.
Okay.
Loved it. Loved it.
Yes. And that didn't that just illustrate what we're saying about the vampires, where realistic they just want to live their life and do their thing.
Yeah.
Just it jumped to 1992, and Michael B. Jordan's the was it Stack was the one that got turned into the vampire, or was it Smoke?
Shit.
Whoever it was, one of
Yeah.
the
Stack,
twin
I think.
Stack, right? To
Yes.
see him show up, and there's his
Yes.
girlfriend again that we saw that they were together
Yeah, I
for
was Stack. Sorry.
yes, to come in the bar and
Uh-huh.
just like yeah, we've been watching your career. We wanted to see
Yeah.
you play blues now that you're out, and they just listen. They
Yeah.
put the money down on the bar
Yes.
and they leave him be and they go. And I'm just like, oh my God, could you have possibly ended this on a more beautiful note?
Yes.
Like,
No, it absolutely wonderful. And I liked how Stack, because he told, and one thing, uh, Sammy, preacher
yep,
Sammy,
yep.
grown up, that was Buddy Guy.
That was, I
Blues,
didn't,
blues
whoa.
and rock legend. He and that whole generation were the genesis of what
Yeah,
rock and roll would become. He's an absolute blues god. And to feature him, especially because of his music, and to have him there as preacher Sammy grown up, it was beautiful. It was absolutely wonderful. And I just had to say that because it was wonderful seeing Buddy Guy there. And
no, that was,
I'm so glad that he's still around. But I loved how Michael B. Jordan's character, the brother Stack, says, "I promised my brother that because he let him live. I
Yep.
promised my brother to leave you alone. And he always admired him anyways. He
Yeah.
loved Sammy. He
Yeah.
loved Sammy.
Right. 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 Yeah. You get the scene with them in the car at the beginning when they're driving
Yes.
through the cotton fields there, and they're talking about blues and they're talking about women and like you're
Mm-hmm.
becoming a man and da.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And listen, don't apologize for bringing that up about Buddy Guy. That was very important, very important. And I agree. Yeah, like it kind of like put a lump in my throat. Um, if there's one thing I hope, uh, because again, this is a new classic. We have to
Yes.
acknowledge that, and
Yes.
there are parallels for me with Shawshank Redemption, and what I mean by that is, yeah, no, 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 not thematically, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in terms of this, Shawshank Redemption was a flop when it came out of the movie theater. It flopped. It gained its audience over time, and obviously now it's recognized as one
Oh
of
yeah.
the most, if not the greatest movie of all time, right? But
Big
I
time.
sat and watched Shawshank Redemption in a theater with maybe about six other people. Like there was nobody. What now? Sinners has come out the gate stronger. It's making money. But when I say that the parallel that I see here is, I think that this is just going to gain more and more traction, just like Shawshank did. And I
Yeah. Oh yeah.
think that 20 years from now, 20 years from now, this is absolutely going to be just like, again, looked upon as a bona fide classic of
Yeah.
this era. Like, really, I just hope that they resist the urge to make a sequel.
Yes, please. No, no, no sequel. Not needed. It ended perfectly. It was brilliant. Nothing more needs to be done with this story. It was perfection.
It was a beautiful
Yes.
one and done,
Yes.
and that's okay. Not everything is created. Not everything should be a franchise. Not
Yeah.
everything should be
Yeah.
bastardized to death.
Yeah.
Let it be, let it breathe, let it find its audience, and
Yes.
just enrapture them the way that it is enrapturing. It has enraptured me, it's enraptured you, and
Oh yeah.
people are loving it,
Oh yeah.
loving it. Is
Well,
there
and
some?
just
Is there
oh
such a
sorry.
thing as a feel-good vampire movie? Because I kind of, it's a feel-good vampire movie to me.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But to circle back to what we were comparing it to earlier when I mentioned this, same thing with From Dusk Till Dawn. It didn't really garner an audience until after the fact. Okay.
Yeah,
And what you were talking about, the character development first, we didn't see the vampires until towards the end of the movie.
absolutely. You're right.
That was
You're
another
right.
parallel. And with John Carpenter's vampires, same thing. It didn't really garner an audience until after the fact. And you have the character development somewhat, before the vampires really came out. So again, the parallels are drawn there.
Yeah.
And it will, just like those two, this one will be a cult classic that is going to be endearing to the fans
Yeah, and
years later.
you said that about Dust Till Dawn. You're absolutely right because the first chunk of the movie is just a straight up crime. It's a
Yeah.
straight up crime story, right? You've got these two, the Gecko brothers, on the run, and when the vampires show up, it's a massive twist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just we're coming kind of to the end of the show.
Mhm.
I'm sure you probably have a wrap up thought, but I just, for my own self, um, we're a little growing show, but if anyone from the creative team, anyone is watching this, everybody involved, from
Yes.
Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan through to everyone, to the cinematography, the sound, everything. Big, big thank you for
Yes.
this beautiful cinematic gift that you gave us
Yes.
because it's lovely. I talked about how gutted I felt coming out of that woman in the yard. What a bunch of rubbish I found there. It's lovely to go to the other side of the coin and just
Yeah.
come out and just be like, wow, that was money well spent. That was money
Yeah.
well spent. And that's my thoughts. I don't. Do you have anything more you want to add, my friend?
Yes, just like we were talking about moments ago, this doesn't need a sequel. This was ended brilliantly. It shined like a diamond. We loved it. It needs nothing else, and nothing against Robert Rodriguez and John Carpenter because we love them. We adore both of you. The sequels never should have been made because From Dusk Till Dawn ended perfectly. That's all it needed. And same thing with John Carpenter's Vampires. It ended perfectly. That's all that was
Yeah.
needed. So with this one right here, nothing more needs to be done. It's a brilliant standalone future cult classic, or even just classic in general, that needs nothing more. It was a wonderful movie. So glad that you and I got to see this. Loved it.
Let it be. Let it
Let it
be.
be,
Let it
let it
be.
be,
Let
let
it
it be.
be.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it
Let
be.
it
Thank you.
be.
Thank you very much.
You know what we need? You know what? There's a parallel between us in this movie as well, and that is that we're generally pretty serious, but we like to throw in our musical moments as well. Right?
Yes.
And that was almost there was so many musical moments in that film. But yes, we are united. Beautiful
Yes.
film, chef kiss, absolute perfection.
Yes.
Always a pleasure, brother.
Yes.
And to all of our ice creamers, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't seen Ryan Coogler's Sinners, put it up to
Do
the
it.
top of your list. Do it. Do it. Seriously. All right. This is
Just like,
Lions saying
oh,
peace out. And I'm sure it's probably Lawrence C. Gibbs, Mr. Cool J, saying,
well, just like Ringo Starr, I hope we pass the audition, mate. I hope we pass the audition. And remember, just keep screaming.
ladies and gentlemen, good night and God bless. We'll see you soon. Peace out.